If you own your own business and you have like an Etsy store or you offer your services, probably already have an LLC or a corporation, but you know that an LLC and a corporation does not protect your brand name. It just protects your limited liability. What protects your brand name is your trademark. You've heard us talk about this all the time. As a trademark attorney who files trademark registrations all day, every day for my clients, I'm going to break down some misconceptions. The number one most biggest misconception is that you can just file for a trademark registration and then get your trademark certificate. Really wish it was that easy, but that is just not how trademark registrations work. It's not like getting an LLC where you just apply online and then receive your certificate. If it were that easy, you simply would not need an attorney. You can technically go directly to the USPTO's website and apply for a trademark without an attorney, just on your own, and DIY it. And the reason why you can do that is because the USPTO accepts everybody's money. So anyone can go and pay a deposit for a trademark registration. But what they don't tell you is that when you pay for that and when you click submit, you will not get that money back. You will not get a refund when they reject your application. I'm not saying it's impossible to get a registration certificate without an attorney. It's just very highly unlikely to get that registration certificate because what happens next, because it's a 1-year process, what's going to happen after you click submit is that it's going to go through a whole proceeding. If you receive an office action, they give you 3 months to respond to this office action. If you don't have an attorney on the application, you will have to be the one to respond to the office action. So whether or not that means to write a legal brief, have case law, defend your application, whatever it is that you need to respond to, you will need to either do it on your own, or what you have to do most of the time is have an attorney take over and help you with that office action response. And let's say you file that response on your own or your attorney does it and it doesn't get accepted. Then the next stage after that is a final office action. And that is when you need to appeal. And appealing is very similar to going to court to defend your application. The whole thing just ends up being a lot more expensive when you go the DIY route with the trademark application. And I know this because I take over trademark applications all the time, and it just, for the client, becomes a lot more expensive when they have an attorney come in the middle of the entire process. The second biggest misconception is that you can just apply for a trademark without doing any sort of background work. What I mean by that is not employing any sort of legal strategy or not doing a comprehensive legal search to see if there's anyone else that has a similar brand name to yours that's in your related goods or services category. Your strategy should not be clicking submit and submitting your application and crossing your fingers. There needs to be a legal strategy before submitting a trademark application. So if filing for a trademark is on your to-do list for your business, at the very, very least, you want to make sure that you have a legal strategy call with an attorney like myself or any trademark attorney that you trust. And you don't necessarily have to hire them to be your attorney for the trademark. At the very least, make sure you speak to an attorney before you file any application, because the last thing you want to do is just flush money down the toilet on an application that's going to get rejected. If you're spending money on something, you want to make sure that you're getting that product or service that you're paying for. So when you're paying to submit a trademark application, you want to make sure that at the end of the day, there's a high likelihood that you will receive that trademark certificate, because that's what you're paying for. For example, if you have an online store and you sell, products and clothing and you call it pink balloons, before filing the application for pink balloons, what we would do is go into the USPTO database and make sure, and Google, you can do a Google search too, just to make sure that there's nobody else already using anything that sounds similar, looks similar, rhymes with pink balloons, anything that could sound like it, look like it in the world of online store, just to make sure that you're cleared, because if not, then we can have a legal strategy on how to get that trademark name. There's just so much that goes into filing a trademark that we would go over. Basically want to make sure that you're clear so that when we click submit and we file your application, we know that you're clear. Again, the goal is to get that registration certificate because that is what you're paying for. I've opened up a ton of time slots this week, so all you have to do is click on that link and schedule a time, a day that works for you, and we can get started on this entire journey together. It's really exciting when you finally get that registration certificate, and knowing that you can sleep at night, knowing that you own your brand is really the best feeling that you can have.